the word reading test has been completed, once the student has completed it, you're now going to get a grade equivalent for this test. And this is going to be very useful information. I will find out whether the student is reading at grade level and whether the student can handle the actual grade level workload.
Right.
So this is really important, especially for high school, right? So if you have a student in grade 11 and they're reading at a grade 7, that's going to be a problem.
Right.
If the student is reading at grade level, then, you know, you can move forward with programming. So Morgan has completed her word reading card, and we are going to find out now where she's at in terms of her word reading.
Okay.
So if you notice here, she made it all the way down to 70, and she got a few wrong, not too many. So we add up all of the ones that she got right, and she actually got word reading total raw score of 64. So now we're going to convert that 64 into weighted raw scores, which is going to help us determine her word reading grade level. So we find 64 on here, and you'll see that the corresponding number for K to 12 is 182. Okay. We write 182 right there. And then we're going to write that here on the front, right next to word reading. Once we have the weighted raw scores, what we're going to do now is we're going to use the administration scoring manual, and we're going to find out what the grade equivalent of that. On page B4, Appendix B, Table B3, you'll notice across the top it states the grade equivalents corresponding to the subtest weighted raw scores. And in that gray bar underneath that, it says subtest weighted raw scores. So you've got word reading, reading comprehension, spelling, and numerical operations. So all the numbers that we took off the sheet are all in that white area there, on this page and the page over. And then in the gray column, so down the gray column, that's where you will find the grade equivalent. Okay. That corresponds with that number. And the grade equivalent goes all the way down here. You see at the bottom, grade 3, and then across here and down to grade 6, 9. And then finally we get down to all the way. So it goes up to 12, 9. Okay? So you can get the grade equivalent for those scores up to grade 12.
Okay.
We established that Morgan got 182 weighted raw score on her word reading. So now we can convert that into a grade equivalent. So all the way down here at the end, you can see 182, and right, the corresponding grade equivalent is 12:8. So now all we need to do is transfer that onto the form 12:8, and you see above it we've checked off the grade equivalent in that box. This student is actually in grade 12, so she's word reading at grade level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It tells me that she can handle the grade 12 coursework, so we're just going to move along now and start programming for whatever particular subject she's in.
Okay.
In addition to whether the student is reading at grade level, you're also getting additional information about how the student tackles word reading. So, for example, you're finding out whether they have alphabet knowledge. Right. You're finding out whether they have phonemic awareness, which is the actual individual sounds in each word, like, you know, S, so, and here we have what, right? Okay. You're finding out whether they have some orthographic knowledge or awareness, which is what words look like. So the spelling of the word, like for example, there, that word is small and not smell, right? Right. So their ability to break words into syllables. So for more skilled readers, you're finding out whether they have some morphological awareness, whether they have sort of an understanding of words that are more complex based on wide reading. So they've accumulated quite a bit of knowledge of words. So all of these things you're finding out on top of the grade equivalent.
What about the speed that they're reading at and sounding out the words?
Right, so that's actually a very good point, because if a student is having to sound out each word, and you know the reading of each word is very slow, they're
Right.
kind of plodding along.
Right.
That is a problem, especially in high school, because by the time students reach high school, there should be a fluency level. If
Right.
they're still sounding out words or breaking words down
Mhm.
into syllables in high school, then that's really impeding their ability to comprehend. It's impacting their fluency, which is going to have an impact on comprehension, because in high school, a bunch of factors, a multitude of factors, cognitive factors in play when you read,
Mhm.
and not just the ability to identify the words on the page. You're actually comprehending
Right.
as you read, right? It's not just labeling the word, you know, cacophonous or vitriolic. You have to be able to sort of like integrate that into your thinking as you're reading.
Okay.
Now, if we find out at this point that the student is in grade 12 and reading 4 or 5 grade levels below their grade level,
Right.
for the grade level they're in,
Yeah.
then we now have to do some further investigations, and that's when we use different diagnostic assessment tools to really find out where the challenges, where the
Right.
problems are, and we'll discuss those in another video.
Great.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.